Gentlemen, let me do this. Episode 28, the Jules and Coffee Hour, begins in 3, 2, 1. You're listening to the Jules and Coffee Hour, sharing the stories of Blizzard gamers around the world. Pull up a chair. We're glad you're here. Welcome to episode 28 of the Jules and Coffee Hour. I'm Jules.
And I'm Coffee, aka Juror number 3. Thinking about changing my whole channel name, everything. I should just be Juror number 3. What do you think?
Your whole identity has been co-opted by our legal system in the last, what has it been, a week now?
Yeah, I reported a week from yesterday. I reported for jury duty. And I've been in and out of the court ever since.
Oh my goodness. I have never actually had to do jury duty. I've gotten called and, I've gotten the letter and then the thing got the group got dismissed. And so I've never done this. Is this your first round at this?
My first time ever being summoned and just boom, just on a jury, just like that. I don't know.
I know you can't talk about a lot of it yet, but is it something that you've been enjoying, or is it something that it's just kind of like, oh god, I can't.
So the first 4 days of it were just a pain in the ass, not enjoyable at all, and that's the jury selection portion.
Yeah.
So first you report to the jury assembly room, and you're just kind of stuck in there waiting for them to send you to a judge, to a court. And Petrelli.
Hi, Petrelli.
So I was in there waiting to be sent to a court for the majority of the first day. Then they finally sent me to a court, and we were sitting out there assembling to go inside the court. They have you sit in the jury box, and they ask you all these questions, and then the attorneys kind of get to pick and choose who they want to dismiss based on their answers. So that whole thing of these attorneys asking people questions and dismissing people took 4 days. Because, and I don't think that's normal, it took 4 days because we were missing a court reporter a lot of the time. A court reporter is the person that sits in the corner and takes notes on everything that's said. So we were missing one of those a couple of times, and occasionally we were missing a interpreter, because there's people involved in the case that don't speak English. So we were waiting for interpreters. So I think the whole thing has taken much longer than the average amount of jury selection would take, the average time.
Yeah. Period. So you did get selected for a jury, and now you're in the process of actually hearing the case.
Yeah. So now that I'm officially selected and I'm on the jury, they did their opening arguments yesterday.
Okay.
So got to listen to them both explain the case and what they were going to prove and that sort of thing.
So do you feel like this is what you've experienced by watching television and courtroom dramas?
It's hard. It's hard out there for a lawyer because we have all these lawyer superstars and heroes on TV, and I can say that I'm so disappointed in both of these attorneys after watching TV. I mean, it's just they suck compared to Alicia Florrick or anyone on Law and Order, Diane Lockhart. I mean, all these for me, because I have this huge appreciation and respect for people that are well spoken and a good speaker, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for someone that can deliver a good speech, and it's just it's painful to watch these attorneys stumble through these opening speeches and arguments. It's really tough.
Wow.
Yeah. I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, and there's and I can just see myself if I had to be there and just be bored, the thing I do to try to distract my brain is get on my phone and just be
no, they took that from me. They took that from me.
Yeah, and they're not allowing you to do anything like that.
As soon as you walk in the courtroom, they're just boop, nope, can't have that. Timmy the Spork asks, are they first year lawyers? I don't think so. I think that they're very well seasoned lawyers. Is the
Doesn't mean
problem?
that you're yeah, I mean being a lawyer doesn't necessarily make you a good speaker or someone who's dramatically
Hmm.
interesting to listen to. Like you just have to know your stuff, right?
Yeah, I think like, and I could be totally wrong about this, but when you're practicing law, I think the majority of the time the skills and you know yeah, I guess just the skill set that's celebrated and promoted is this just knowledge of the law, because you're
Yeah.
looking for facts and figures and details and things like that. And I feel like, at least from my first experience in court, this like um, presence in court seems to have like, I don't think that's as celebrated. I think it's more about whether can discover facts and how you can what you can get from a witness, and less about, like, I guess, how you carry yourself or how you speak. That's just my
Yeah.
first impression. I could be totally wrong. It's my first time, but that's certainly the case in this trial.
I'm hopeful that you're going to get one of those moments where everybody in the courtroom gasps when a witness has like exposed some crazy secret that no one knew, and there's going to be a judge leaping out of their chair.
That'd
Order,
be good.
order.
There is a lot of like, so the only person, the plaintiff has called a witness so far, and I'm being very careful about what I say because I don't want to like
Yeah.
give anything about the case. But the plaintiff has called a witness so far, and they're kind of struggling through it, like, because he doesn't have this great presence, and um, the witness is older, and she has trouble hearing and even speaking, and they're struggling through this whole process. And every time the witness like stumbles, over her words, because she's freaking old, man. Not because she's like misremembering the truth, just because this woman is old. Every time she does that, the defendant's lawyer looks over at the jury like it's a big victory for like their side of the case, right?
He's like smirking at you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Like it's
That's
some kind of a win for her case, because the witness that the plaintiff called is, not able to deliver what the plaintiff wants or something. And it's not that
yeah.
at all. It's not that at all. It's just this woman is old, right? She should not be on a stand. She needs to be at home in bed getting taken care of. Like, that's what. Is this the same guy that asked you how many followers you had? No, not the guy that's smirking. The guy that asked how many followers I had was the guy who is asking the witness the questions. So
Okay.
so yeah, part of jury selection, they asked like what you do, and I told them everything I do right now, and then they're like, "Oh, okay. How many followers do you have on Twitch?" Like, that was part of the jury selection
Oh
question.
man, like if you were, if you were a level of like ninja or something, they'd probably be like, "Nope."
Probably because it would be
Yeah.
distracting, right? To the
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Oh, that's really interesting. So now
it's wild.
you are going to be juror number 3
Yep.
forever.
I don't know when this case will end. I mean, it will probably go into next week, I imagine,
Oh my
because
gosh.
we haven't even gotten through the first witness, you know, and we're 4 days into it, so it just blows my mind. Well, I guess we're
Yeah, and you
four
didn't
days
have
into
court
jury
today.
selection, but yeah,
Yeah.
and then
No, you
there's no
you didn't
court
have court
today.
today.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay, well, you've had an adventurous couple of days since the last time we met.
yeah.
It's been a while since Coffee and I have just done a show, just the two of us, because we've had
We've had
a
some good
string of
guests.
wonderful guests. We
Yeah,
have.
some really great guests.
And yeah, so like we're gonna talk a little bit about a topic that kind of came to me recently where I was like, what can we talk about for the show? And the thing I realized we have never really done a whole lot of is about something that we sometimes struggle with. It's something that we always seem to want more of and yet can't get enough of.
Oh yeah.
And we really want to get better at it. So we need to talk about this topic because it's pretty important. It's sleep. You didn't think I was talking about sleep, did you? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm awake.
Does
I'm
anybody
ready.
actually snore like that?
I'm ready for the
People really snore
podcast.
like that. I know.
My mom's a pretty bad snorer. Like she snores like that.
So people really do snore like that.
Yeah,
I had a roommate in one of the conventions that I went to where that snored that loud, and I didn't sleep the entire night. So yeah, because that was really
You know
really
who
bad.
else snores like that? Shout out to Matty B. I've shared a hotel room with that dude a couple times. He snores like that.
Oh man, and it hard to sleep when you're in that room. I can
Tough.
attest to that.
But Matty B is a generous snorer. I will say that when I've shared a hotel room with Matty B, he has brought earplugs and offered me earplugs.
Interesting.
So.
I wish that my former roommate had done the same because I could not sleep the entire night. And I did everything. I had noise canceling headphones that I wore, but unfortunately like they were the big can ones like the ones I'm wearing now. And I tried like a white noise app on my iPad. That didn't work.
Wow.
The only way that I got a couple of maybe an hour of sleep is I had like one can on one ear, the ear that wasn't on the pillow, and then flipped the other one off, but like shoved my ear into the pillow so I couldn't hear anything. And then a pillow over the top of my head so that, that it was kind of.
You were desperate for sleep.
Well, especially because it was a convention, and man, you just run your ass off when you're going to a convention and you're tired.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so my opening question to this discussion for you is, what is your relationship with sleep?
It's an ever-changing relationship. It's a love-hate. Because on one hand, I love it. I know my body needs it, and I've gotten healthier about it. Emma has, helped me learn to fall asleep sooner, get the sleep I need. But as a content creator and as like someone who's self-employed, it's like if you're sleeping, you're not working. And if you're not working, you always have that thought in the back of your mind that you're not being as productive, or maybe you're going to miss an opportunity, or be less successful if you're sleeping. So that's always something that's in the back of my mind. But I feel like I'm getting to a better place. I mean, me, like I get up early most of the time, because I go to bed early. So and that helps me feel good. So I'm getting better about sleep. That's for sure.
Yeah, because like we're 2 hours. You're 2 hours behind me. So,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the time, if I have something in the morning, because I have to get up to go to work every day. So if I'm like 9 o'clock in the morning, coffee's usually stirring and moving around at like 7ish in the morning, and responding to Discord messages and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean you're doing that thing. What do you consider early for bed?
I'd say I'm in bed probably by 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, yeah.
And to me, that's 11 p.m. Because you're, and it's interesting to see the sleeping habits of people who are on the West Coast versus like where I am. And because if I'm going to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, you guys are like, it's still like dinner time and crap.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It really is.
What's your typical sleep schedule? How do you handle that?
It's interesting to me how it's changed as I've gotten older. So I used to be, well, nothing. The one thing that has never ever changed is that I love to sleep.
Oh
I
yeah.
love to sleep.
Feels so good.
I love to sleep. And it's when I get good sleep that is the best. But so sadly for the last 3 years or so, my sleep has not been easy, because And you can kind of take it all the way back to the mark of 3 years ago. My life pretty much just decided it was gonna upend completely. And I was under tremendous amounts of stress. I was going through a divorce. I was leaving my home. I was moving into a new place, and then I changing my job, and I moved to another state. So there was so many things going on in my life. And because I'm a naturally kind of nervous, anxious person, the ability to sleep soundly and without struggle went away. And so what would happen to me when all that started to begin is that I would be really, really, really tired during the day. I would work, I would come home, I would just beg to go to bed, fall asleep instantly, and then wake up somewhere around 1 or 2 in the morning,
Oh my
wide
god.
awake with my brain. You know this, right? You know this feeling.
I know the feeling.
And be awake, spinning in my thoughts for up to 4 hours. Pass out for a couple of more hours before my alarm went off to go to work and repeat the cycle.
Hmm.
And so what happened during that time was that I was so I would get like I'd kind of function Monday through Friday working that kind of thing, and then by the weekend I would just like want to like the best thing I could do on the weekends is I would just take a really long nap in the afternoons to try and I could sleep. Like I could sleep during the afternoons. I don't know why. It was just one of those things where I would literally just pass out
Yeah.
and sleep like 3 4 hours at a time in the afternoon, and then I'd come back around and do it all again.
I
That pattern
the
still stays the same. It's
I was
still
gonna
like
say
that.
for some reason the afternoons are such a dangerous time for me. If I'm not very active in the afternoons, I become
Yeah.
so sleepy in the afternoons, even now.
Yeah. And I'm like, I actually it was interesting because I this has been the pattern for me forever, for the forever, for the last 3 years. And I even did it this weekend. Like on Sunday I had some free time, and it was like, do I do this stuff or do I go take a nice long nap? And the nap won, and it was like the most amazing. Like I wake up and I'm just like, I feel like I'm going to take on the world because I've gotten so much rest.
Yeah,
And
it feels
man,
good.
that feels good.
Yeah,
It's like this amazing feeling. Um I'm pretty sure I don't have anything related to like sleep apnea or anything like that. My doctor has said, hey, if you're having problems like this, maybe you want to go and get tests, go through a sleep study and that kind of thing. But in the last couple of years, I've roomed with people at like conventions and stuff, and no one has told me that I snore or that I'm waking up choking. Because I had roommates in college that had sleep apnea, and it, like
yeah,
they're waking up like gasping for air loudly.
yeah. My mom did a sleep study, and she was not getting enough oxygen, so she actually has one of those like CPAP machines now, where she
Yeah, yeah,
sleeps with this
exactly.
mask over, and she's felt a lot better since she got one of those. So I've never done a sleep study, but I mean, I can vouch for it. Seems to be good. Seems to be a good thing to do.
Yeah, it's like so I mean it's kind of there. It was actually my heart doctor. I have a very minor heart condition where my heartbeat is different. Like it beats off beat. So it
Hmm.
like in a normal heartbeat rhythm, you'll have like a couple extra beats in there between the beats. And so I take medication for that, which regulates it. It's nothing serious, but they always want to check me every couple years. And so this year they kind of brought up the sleep study thing. And I've thought about it mainly just, but I also like, I'll be completely honest, like I've been going on and off to therapy, um, just to kind of help with that sleep anxiety thing that I have. Um, because part of this discussion, I want to kind of talk about what our struggles are and the things that we've been going through and some of the things that we have done to try to help it.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody has said to you, Coffee, like turn your screens off at X number hours before you go to bed so that you don't have a problem.
yeah. I mean, so that's not an issue for me. I usually am not playing video games past say 7 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
And I have like a wind down period for the next 2 hours where I'm usually not playing a game. The TV might be on, but I'm not really doing anything on it. Typically, I might not even be watching it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's important. I know that in our culture, especially, it's so easy to just be gaming all the time, or
Yeah.
game right up until the moment you want to go to bed. But there's something in the mind that won't allow me to do it, and I think it's similar to a lot of people. I think that they have the same issues.
And my problem is that I don't have problems falling asleep. Never. Like
It's just once you
I
get
don't.
there.
Yeah, no, it's literally that I will wake up in the middle of
Oh
the
yeah.
night, and so I've never had problems like I can't fall asleep, I'm not tired enough. That does not happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole like don't have the screens on thing, like I apparently that still seems to contribute, or they've said that it contributes to the thing that I have, which is that but mainly what it is that it's partly, well, it's probably mostly anxiety. So that thing that so I have done this in my work, in my work life, where I will literally go to bed, fall asleep, sleep for a couple hours, wake up, and then be like, oh my God, I forgot to do the thing and respond to that person in the email. And I'm like, it's like shooting me upright in bed.
Yeah, the same thing's happened to me.
Like, that sucks, man.
It
That's
does.
stupid. Oh my gosh. And so my therapist has actually told me, like, if that ever happens to you, then you need to start taking that stuff out of your brain and putting it someplace, like, get a piece of paper next to the bed and just like write the thing down, like respond to
Oh,
coffee in the morning about this, so that you remove it from your brain.
that's good.
And
That's
then
smart.
yeah. So, but here's my stupidity thing, is that I put lists on my phone. That's how I do things, because I put a
Oh yeah,
reminder on things.
I do the same
And
thing.
now I've opened up my screen, and oh man,
You need a
I'm
notepad.
really,
You need a physical notepad.
I know, but then if the
Wait, what
notepad,
about the notepad from this?
what thing?
Ah!
Oh, crash.
Sorry, this, the community BlizzCon 2017
Oh, I
notepad.
never got one of those. I did
Oh
not.
my god, it's like my
I
most
did
treasured
not.
possession. I love this thing.
That's awesome, though.
I mean, I technically wasn't a part of the 2017 community, technically,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like when they kind of like officially welcomed me into the community in 2018, they were like, "Here, you should have this too," and they gave me one of these.
Aw. That's awesome. Yeah, I never got one of those because I was there's a bit of a weird, I don't know what it is. Like because at the time I was doing Torn Think Tank, and Torn Think Tank was never thought of as like actually, we were never treated as part of the content creator community. It's stupid.
What?
So I know it's just really dumb. I've never understood it. It was just part of the world, and then I just had to deal with it. So in any case, I didn't get one of those, but I see your point. The thing about it,
A
though, that's a
physical
problem.
notebook, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't go with me to whatever it is I'm gonna do. So like if it's work related or something, like yeah, I could just get a pad and paper and just make sure that. But like if it's work related that I've gotten bolt upright in bed about, then I want the reminder to pop up on my phone when I get to work, so
Your
that
calendar and stuff.
yeah, because like the goal is to physically remove it from your brain. Like by
Yeah,
writing it down, you're actually vacating it from taking up space in your brain, and then you can
I
rest.
gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. So in any case, that is one of the things that I have tried to do to do that. But my also the other problem that I have is I feel like that's the time when I kind of unpack a lot of things in my head,
What, in the middle
which
of
is
the night?
which is really inconvenient.
Jeez Louise.
And maybe it is literally that I've just got too many things going on at once, that I don't actually get a lot of that quiet time to just unspool the line of thoughts in my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because I think about this now, and I'm kind of like thinking about it as we speak right now. So like I go to work and I work 8 hours, and so what I do on the way home and to work is I listen to a podcast. So I'm not really there with my thoughts. I'm just listening to whatever somebody else is saying. for the
Mm-hmm.
drive to and from.
So you can't
And
really
then I
unpack your thoughts because you're focused
no,
on something else.
no, I don't get a chance to unpack the thoughts there. I come home and I'm usually, so this week is kind of like crazy busy week because it's this show and then I've got Fight Night Heroes, Fight Night Warcraft 3 all in this one week, and it's a lot
Yeah,
of different
this is a
things.
stressful week for sure.
It is definitely a busy week, and so that time of like being able to unspool that line of thought is just not there, and so my brain forces it out of me. I don't know.
Yeah. Timmy asks, "Do you listen to your own podcast from last week?" She listens to it because she has to put it up on Simplecast, so I know she listens to it. Uh,
There's a it's too interesting to me. Like I've listened to our show in the car, but actually I just listen to other people that I enjoy.
yeah,
You know, um and I but the thing about it is like I'm being entertained by somebody else's podcast and and not like listening to
yeah.
my own stuff. But
I usually
no,
listen
I've
to our
actually taken
podcast
a
once, though. I'll usually listen to
y-
it once.
yeah, like I haven't listened to the last few episodes recently. But like when we start working on shows, like when I first start making a podcast, I always listen to the first few episodes because and I did that with Coffee and I, like so that I could get a chance to give him some feedback after
Yeah,
like not me listening to the actual show as I'm doing it.
that's
So,
mostly the reason I am listening still is I'm trying to find things that I don't really enjoy about myself or my mannerisms, and I'm trying to break a lot
mhm.
of those habits and try different things. So also I enjoy
It's
the content, but I'm just specifically
I did too.
I'm looking and like kind of critiquing and making changes as I go. So I'm new to this. I'm
It's
figuring it out.
it's good. It's a good thing to do. So do you have that thing? Do you have that thing in like the
Middle
two
of the night.
clock three? Yeah.
um I do. It usually happens though when I have some like just something going on the next day. On days when
Mhm.
all I have to do the next day is stream, I just sleep like a baby. I sleep
Yeah.
like a baby. It's the days that I have to fit streaming in between some like other prior engagements and things like that. That's when I get stressed out because that's when
Yeah.
streaming becomes a stressor because I'm trying to somehow schedule it in the middle of the day between these big kinds of things that are going on. At those
Yeah.
like nights like that, the night before, I just like have the worst, hardest time sleeping. And I've tried all kinds of things. I've tried like turning on a show. I've tried reading a book. I just have the hardest time falling back asleep. I don't really know
Yeah.
what to do.
Yeah, I have I mean in the earlier group of years where it was really bad. I mean, I would watch late night Twitch streams, people. I would watch stuff on Netflix. I would read social media cuz I just was not going back to sleep. It was
Yeah,
just not happening. And there is few things worse in life than knowing that you are exhausted and completely utterly just wanting to rest and you can't rest. And thank goodness it's gotten better because and I did melatonin. I tried that. I don't drink caffeine except for in the morning, like when I first get up, so it wasn't like I needed to eliminate caffeine or anything. Um,
I've tried to cut out coffee like towards the middle of the day because I think that might
yeah.
actually be a part of it. And
Mhm.
sometimes Emma will make a sleepy time tea like before bed. I find that
Yeah.
helps kind of a little bit.
Yeah. And so the things that I mean I've tried meditation. Meditation and I have a very weird relationship. I want to try to do it, right? I'll go into a mode where it's like maybe I'll do it for a couple weeks or even a week, and then I just don't have the time or the patience or the whatever
Mm-hmm.
to make the time for it, and I don't, and then I wish that later on that I wish I had. So
Yeah,
it's so frustrating, dude.
I'd like to try that sometime. I have a friend of mine here in LA that actually professionally like leads meditation groups essentially, and
Oh,
he's
that'd be cool.
yeah, and He's fantastic. He's just an amazing person. His name's Peter. I don't technically know what his title would be, but he's a spiritual healer, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And what he'll do is he has a studio where he will bring you in. He'll give you a massage, and you and him will just sort of talk about things that are going on in your life and what's creating weight on you, and like
Mm-hmm.
what the emotional labor that you're having to do is. And he kind of just chats about that with you while he's giving you this great professional masseuse massage. And yeah, it's just awesome. It's a type of therapy for sure.
Oh my gosh, there is so much power in having the ability to just unload your
Yeah.
thoughts on
Oh yeah.
someone who is just neutral and does not have judgment.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible, especially, so I am so appreciative of therapy for that, because as a single person who doesn't have a partner that can just kind of come home to and just be like, splat everything all over,
Yeah.
you know, there's nobody there to listen to your fears and your thoughts and your worries. And, I have that terrible tendency to just let it spin into my brain until it becomes a beast that I can't control.
Yeah.
So, man, it sounds like a dream to
He
me.
does remote sessions too. I can give you his info.
Yeah.
He's
The
fantastic.
the thing about it that's so cool is the physical touch with the
True. Yeah.
mental release.
For sure. Yeah.
Um cuz let me tell you something. It's when you have not been around another person to have someone to like actually touch your arm, give you a hug, like wrap their arm around you, like it actually feels very very strange when it happens. Like,
Yeah.
so me going to BlizzCon and seeing my friends and having that physical like hug contact and that kind of thing, like you realize just how much you miss it. You
Yeah.
realize how much it's not there. And so, like, I can't even tell you the last time someone's hugged me. Probably when I saw my parents a month ago, right? Imagine that. Imagine the feeling of that.
What
And
about that little
it's
fur
interesting.
ball?
Well, it's different. That's
No,
he
I know.
gives me tons and tons of affection, and it's like I don't know if I would be as I don't know what if I would be as like well-rounded and comfortable in my own skin if I didn't have the cat here. Like,
Hmm.
because he loves the heck out of me and wants to give me that love and affection.
Yeah.
Um but to not have that at all, like I guess there's just some people that doesn't do it for them and they don't want to be anything a part of it. I just
Yeah.
like I really notice it
Hmm.
when it's not there.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time since I've had to experience that, but I can definitely recall moments of um missing it so much that I became like addicted to just that like human contact, and I lost
Yeah.
interest in um so much of what I was really loved, because all I wanted to do was like be around people and like touch people and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff like that. So I understand.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I had to get used to being in an office around other people again, because it was so long that I worked from by myself and there was no one else here but me.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden there could be up to 6 other people surrounding me as I was working. That was a bit of a change,
Yeah.
and it's been fine. Like it wasn't a problem, but in the beginning I was just kind of like, "Oh, this feels really weird, you guys. Like I don't know what's going on."
Yeah.
But
What are all you people
but I
doing in
can
my house?
I know. Why are you people here? But the other thing that's interesting for me is that if I am working from home now and it's the afternoon, you talk about how you have that afternoon slumpy time and you're not busy. If you're not busy, it goes into that.
Hmm.
I can be at work and never have the afternoon slump. I don't have it. Like I don't have the I need to take a nap right now feeling. But when I'm home and I'm trying to get work done, that afternoon slump hits me like a brick.
Yep.
It's,
Totally.
because I know you like sometimes go and work in an office too. Like, do you have that same thing?
Um, it happens to me all the time. Like regardless of that, like I just the afternoon hits and I need a nap. Now I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I just need
Mm-hmm.
a nap. It's so weird. It's so hard to fight it, especially because if I take a nap, then that sleep schedule that I'm working so hard for is screwed because I'm
Yes.
gonna wake up and there's no way I'm gonna go back to bed. So
I
like if that
know.
nap happens, as lovely as it would be, and it's like as bad as I really want it some days, um, yeah, I can't. It's so interesting because Saturday night I was out super late. I was out with Metal Magic.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the Scum and Villainy bar,
Oh,
and the
fun.
one on Hollywood Boulevard. It's like a Star Wars pop-up bar. It's meant to be like the cantina, and
That
we were
sounds
there with a
awesome.
bunch of Respawn developers and all these EA people and content creators. It was a lot of fun, but holy shit, we were out till like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., something just stupid, crazy, like I'm not used to doing.
Yeah.
And Sunday, I was in rough shape because
Were
my
you?
my body is just not used to being up that late or being out that late around all those
Okay.
people.
This is a key question though. So you stayed out till like 1, 2 in the morning, got home,
Yeah.
went to bed. What time did you wake up on Sunday morning?
I mean, so what time did I try to wake up? I tried to wake up at around 11 o'clock,
Okay.
and it didn't happen.
So, because I was expecting one of two things. I was expecting that, or I was expecting of my body just woke me up at 7 like I normally get up.
Well, I'm pretty sure my alarm like did wake me up, and I was just like, "Fuck it, it's not happening. It's not happening." And then I tried again at 11, couldn't do it again, and I think I finally woke up at 1.
Uh-huh.
I was messed up. It was rough.
Now that is really interesting because I used to be like that. When I'd stay up late, then I would
Yeah,
just sleep late.
yeah.
Now I would go to bed. So a couple like back in October, I went out with Workhorse and Breakfast Princess and Heroes of Fitness and Nicole Duquesne. We all went out and we had a great time. We wound up closing down a bar.
Mm.
And yeah, like it was late. It was like 2 in the morning by the time I got home.
I
And we'd
can't
been
imagine a better
drinking.
group of people to close down a bar with, though. My
Oh my
goodness.
god, it was incredibly fun. Like so much fun. And we drank way too much. And I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, even though I'd gone to bed at 2.
Yeah,
And I mean, I was in rough shape because we were all hungover too, right? And and then I was like, okay, I'll go back to sleep for a little bit, and I did. But then I was awake, and then but that frustrating thing of like, hey, I only got like 5 hours, 6 hours of sleep, maybe, and I should be asleep for at least 8. But my
yeah.
body goes, no, no, no,
No, you gotta wake up.
get up, bitch. Like, and I hate that because that has happened to me as I've gotten older. And that really sucks because I used to be able to be like you, where I'd be like, oh, I stayed out till 1. I'm just going to sleep till 11.
My other challenge that I have now, and this is actually important because my wife's going out of town on Thursday, and she's going to be gone for about a week. And is amazing. I mean, Emma's amazing. She has 100 million things for me that is just incredible. But this one thing she does in the morning is she feeds the cats and the dog. And if she doesn't do that, I have one cat on the left of me, one cat on the right of me, just crying like nonstop for hours. And that starts at around like 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Yes.
And they will not shut up. They won't get bored, or like they won't realize, you're sleeping. They'll just it's like a broken record. Like the
Yep.
same sound over and over again. And if you just lay there, it'll just keep happening. Like it's not gonna
Uh-huh.
stop. It's literally not. They would do it until their like vocal cords, were destroyed or something. They would just do it. I don't know. But like there's no
They
way
just sit
you
there with
sleep through
meow.
that. Yeah, there's no way you
No.
sleep through that. So Yeah.
Mine leaps onto the bed and lands on me. So
It's good.
I'm literally jolted awake
That
by
sounds
him when
very
he's hungry.
athletic. That sounds super
Oh yeah.
athletic.
Yeah, because I have like a high mattress too, and he just
Hmm.
comes leaping up and thump, and he's on me. And then I push him off and he comes back but is never it is never a set time for this cat. Ever.
Yeah.
So I can leave I like tonight what I probably will try to do is I'll try to leave some food in the dish for him. And it depends on whether or not he eats it all before I get up for work at 7 or he eats it if he doesn't then I'm fine. If he decides he's hungry and eats it all, then he's going to wake me up at 4, 5, 6 to make sure that I feed him. Like
Yeah.
it literally is there's no schedule for this cat.
Yeah.
So that never helps either.
Yeah.
That
And
never helps.
like, I'll leave food in a dish for Daisy, and she wakes me up in the morning, or well, she wakes us up in the morning, not because she wants more food in that dish, because she wants the good stuff. She wants the wet food. She
Yes,
wants the cream of the crop.
the stuff that gets eaten inhaled right
Like
away.
2 seconds, boom. But yeah, I mean, so Emma's gonna be gone on Thursday, and it's gonna be a week of me. Like, even if I don't want to, I'll be up at 6 a.m. because of these cats waking us up. So
And then there's the question is can you fall back asleep
I
if
don't.
you've gotten up?
I am not good at doing that.
No.
Yeah, if I have to get up to do something like feed the cats or walk the dog or even just like go to the bathroom,
Go
I
to the bathroom.
typically am not good at falling back asleep. My mind just starts to race. So
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing to see like can I fall back asleep? Can I not? If I'm just zonked out, tired, then I will. So
yeah.
like this morning and okay, here's another thing that gets to me too. The temperature of the room.
Oh yeah. I need the temperature to be nice and cool. Nice
Yes.
and cool.
Yes.
Because if it gets too
And
hot, it's just uncomfortable and sticky, and it's not good.
you can't sleep, right? And so
No.
like last night even it was like it cooled off quite a bit. It got really nice out. I could open the windows
Do you
and
have
just
air
like let
conditioning?
cool air in. Yeah, I do.
People in my chat today, so many people didn't have air conditioning.
Really?
And I was like, is this a thing for houses and apartments to not have air conditioning? It was just blowing my mind. I
Was
couldn't
it a lot of
sleep.
students?
No, Kagiri didn't have air conditioning even.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, like she apparently, well, there's this heat wave right now, so she went out to
Yeah.
try to get a air conditioner to stick in her window, and they were all sold out. So I think that means that other people also don't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
Some sort of
Well,
something sweeping our nation is this lack of air conditioning. I don't know what's going on.
yeah, that's actually a really good question. Cuz I mean,
I
I
couldn't
know
sleep without
that
air conditioning. Could you?
no,
Yeah,
no, no,
there's
no.
no way
Like
I could sleep without air conditioning. I don't know.
and that is I mean, I know that it's for some people like they're maybe they don't have central air and they haven't purchased like a wall unit or something.
Oh,
I remember living in the dorms in college and we didn't have air conditioning in those and that was terrible. But I had a roommate who pretended to have allergies and therefore needed the air conditioner. If you could get a note from your doctor saying you had allergies, then you could get an air conditioner you could use one in your
interesting.
room.
Okay.
But you had to buy it yourself and you had to put it in yourself, like in
Right.
your window.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's wild and I think probably older buildings or places that don't offer it like if you're a renter and you don't have central air as part of it because I when I was looking for apartments when I was first moving up to Minnesota, there were quite a few places that were like, hey, this one has like wall units or window units
Mm-hmm.
versus central air, and that was like a determining factor of whether or not you were going to rent there or not.
It's like, and like that's a pretty cold place, you know. Like I feel like Minnesota gets pretty cold.
Oh yeah. But our
So
our summers get pretty humid and hot too.
okay, okay, yeah. Like I guess, I mean California gets hot. Like I
Yeah,
don't
like your
understand.
summers are not like cool and breezy. Like
No.
especially lately, like the last few years, everyone's been talking about the summer being like, oh my gosh, it's 90 degrees, it's 100 degrees. And so, yeah, that actually does blow my mind. And the good point of being, if it's too hot in the room, forget it. Because here's the other thing that I have, and I don't know if you have this too. I have to sleep with something covering me at least a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit, like
yeah.
a sheet.
Same here, and that's why I need the air conditioning. Because like, if I didn't have air, I think I'd get too hot with what
Yep.
something covering me. So
Because I cannot do the thing where you just throw off all the covers and just like, not have something covering you. I need to have something on me. It's not going to happen if I don't.
yeah, yeah. Same here. I mean, yeah. I guess I'm just realizing this now that you mentioned temperature is so important to me. Like when I'm
Yes.
sleeping, it's very important.
And during the winter, I sleep a lot better because in terms of just like not being, because it's cold. So I'm
Yeah,
all buried up under covers and that's perfect.
yeah.
Um,
Can you
okay.
can you
So
sleep
the
with the
last
lights
thing,
on?
no,
No, not a single light can be
no,
on.
no, I can't do it.
Okay.
Do
I
you?
personally can sleep with the lights on because if I close my eyes, I don't see them. But Emma has to have it pitch black, not a light in the room can be on.
So like if there's this is a good example of like you have a humidifier in the room that has a light. Do you have to cover the
Hmm.
light up?
I don't think it's quite that bad for her. My dad has huge sleep issues. He can't sleep with he. When I visit his house, all of his electronics in his bedroom are unplugged because when he goes to bed, he unplugs everything. He just rips out the cables when he's going to bed because he can't sleep with even just the slightest amount of illumination in his bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah, but Emma's not that bad. Emma's she just doesn't like lights when she's going to bed, and I mean, if it's a small thing like a humidifier, I think she'd be fine.
Yeah, and so like there's some people who fall asleep to the television being on. That does
Yeah.
not happen to me.
So lots of times when we're going to bed, like I'll she's even though we go to bed at the same time, she still falls asleep sooner, and she'll go to bed while I have like a show on,
Mhm.
maybe, so she can fall asleep even though the TV's on, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not I have to turn the TV off if I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't think
No,
I
I
can fall
remember
asleep with the TV
being
on.
married and when my ex would want to like go to bed but not go to sleep and he would have like a light on to read
Uh-huh.
or something. I hated it. I hated it because I just like,
Yeah.
no, turn that thing off. It's straight, because what would happen is he would fall asleep with the light on. And the light would stay on for a good chunk of the night, and I'd wake up
Right.
and I'm like, the light is still freaking on.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
That's actually tilting. That would be really that would be
It was
upsetting.
super tilting. Yeah, then he wound up just like not coming to bed, and that was probably the best thing. So,
There you go. That
um,
was the best thing.
you wonder why I'm single, right? Um, but the other thing I have, which started, I want to say 10 years ago, 10 years ago. Um, I used to own a condo that was right next to a high school, and the fields, the soccer and
Oh
football
man.
fields were right outside my wall. They were right there. And so in the like sometimes like 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning, there would be soccer practice going on out there with the music and whistles and stuff. And so the only way I could sleep was by getting an air machine, a white noise air machine that
Wow.
could drown out any like extraneous noise, and now I cannot sleep without it.
It's just always on, huh?
Yes, and it's the thing that it's like it sucks because I have to take it with me to travel. So
Oh.
when I go to conventions and stuff, and I've like, had roommates, and I have to warn them every single time like, "Hey, like just so you know, I sleep with this air machine. I hope it doesn't." And it's never bothered pretty much anybody. I think one person it was annoying to, because it's just this whoosh, like sound of noise,
Yeah.
and it's constant, so it doesn't change. And it's meant to just like help to, drown out any extra noise. It's like great in hotel rooms when there's people like running up and down the hallways and slamming doors and shit. So
like conventions.
yeah. But the thing is that like I cannot sleep without it. So it sucks because now I have to have it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of problems with sleep. Like I'm like listing them all up. I have a lot of problems with sleep.
I don't think you have a lot of problems with sleep. I think people just have their own sleep regiment or ritual or state, and I think that things have to be specific
Yeah.
and they have to be in that state for you to get the most out of your sleep. And I think everyone's different.
Yeah.
I don't think you have problems with sleep.
Well, I mean, I wish I was that person that could just come and go to bed, fall asleep, sleep through the night, never have a problem, sleep anywhere kind of situation. That's not me for sure. Hotels are hard because if it's not my own bed and it's not my own pillows and it's not a comfortable place where I know all the noises, then
Oh
it's
yeah.
going to take me a couple days to get comfortable and actually
I'm
rest.
I'm not very good at sleeping places that aren't my bed, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
I don't sleep well in hotel rooms. The thing I've tried
Mhm.
recently in hotel rooms is leaving like the bathroom light on but the door cracked. And for
Okay.
some reason that makes me feel like I'm in my house. I don't know why. It's weird. I don't know why that would, but
No, that I mean, it allows you to see, which is a good thing because you
no,
may
it's
not be
true.
able to see the space around you. I mean, I broke a toe in a hotel room by like stubbing it
Oof.
on something. Yeah, that sucked. Um, so yeah, like that feeling of, and I hate it, like not knowing exactly where you are and where the bed is versus where the door is. You have to get up to go to
Yeah.
the bathroom. Yeah, that
And
is
and I'll
tough.
and I'll when if I'm sleeping in a hotel room, which I do, I guess I travel a fair amount, honestly. When I
Yeah,
when
you
I'm
do.
sleeping in a hotel room, I'll put a pillow between my legs. For some reason that
Mhm.
helps me sleep too.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. No,
but
it's
what do I do
interesting.
about no cats? How do I sleep without a cat? It's just I don't know.
It's weird. It's
Because
strange to not have a cat
when
there.
I sleep, um, Daisy is always without fail right here,
Uh-huh.
and I can't sleep without that. It's a big part of sleep
She's
for me.
like your upper shoulder by like
Yeah,
laying on your shoulder
I
or like on
not
your pillow.
on to the side of me, but like right up against my shoulder typically.
Yeah.
And I can even
Yeah.
sometimes just sleep on her, like use her as a pillow occasionally.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's pretty tough to go to sleep without that. That's pretty critical.
That is true. And my so Garrus, my kitty, does not sleep with me most of the time. He doesn't sleep on the bed. My other cat who passed away a year ago, he used to sleep right up against me like all the time, and sometimes it was annoying because he was so hot.
Yeah.
Like the heat that
Just
came off of this animal.
crank that. Hey, Alexa, turn the air conditioning on.
Thank goodness that I don't have my speakers going because you would have just like my mind would have been like, "Excuse me, I did not understand what you had to say. I did not understand that command."
Oh my god, it's just amazing that she can control the AC. It's just incredible. She
Well,
controls our
now she's
lights
gonna
too. She's the
she's
best.
gonna take over your house.
Oh, she is. She's taking over the house.
So, chat room and audience listening on the other side, we would love to hear your sleep thoughts on things that have you've had struggles with, that you've had challenges with, and I would also want to know like kind of the things that you have done to try to make your sleep better. Are you someone who's just like, I hate to sleep. Sleep is a waste of time. I'll sleep when I'm dead, because there's a lot of people like that. I am not that person. I am just like, you know, after we get done recording this and I get the show edited, I'm just going to be like into my bed going,
Oh yeah. Yep.
it's kind of the best part of my night.
The biggest thing about me, regarding sleep for me was, my sleep schedule was so different from Emma's for the longest
Mhm.
time. And what ultimately made me want to change it was, and we've both compromised. I mean, she's trying to stay up later. I'm trying to go to bed earlier. And like the thing was,
Mhm.
is we're just trying to spend more time with each other. Ultimately, is
Right.
the main thing. If I can get up early in the morning and spend time with her before she goes to work, that's a win. If she can
Mm-hmm.
stay up just an hour later with me at night, then we get an hour longer together. For a while, it was very tough to like see each other because
Mm-hmm.
I was staying up so much later than her and was getting up so much later than her.
Yeah.
So, and it's been good for us, honestly. It's been really good for us.
Yeah, you were kind of ships passing in the day slash
Yeah.
night where, that, and that is, that is detrimental to a relationship for sure if that
Yeah.
happens. Um, you know, I knew things were not doing well in my situation when, like I said, like he just stopped coming to bed, right? And so, um, and then he would just fall asleep at his desk and sleep there all night. That's what he would do.
Sleep at his
And
desk.
yeah, like fall asleep in his computer chair.
Was he playing games?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was. And like,
World of
would fall asleep
Warcraft?
mid games. Uh-huh. Yep. And
I
yeah,
gotta tell
so
you, I plan on playing Classic when it comes out, and I plan on going really hard. And I think I'm gonna have to be very careful to not fall into old habits like this. I really think
yeah.
I'm gonna have to be
To give
careful.
yourself a cutoff to say, I am going to go to bed at this time or set an alarm or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it
But
is very, very easy to get consumed into a game and then just lose track of your
you
time.
lose time so fast, and especially when that game comes out, we're gonna be racing to get level cap. We're gonna be racing to grind our professions, like be the first to like clear molten core. And I haven't been a part of like a serious guild like this one for the longest time, so it's gonna be very. I feel like it's just gonna be hard to
The
disconnect
pressure.
sometimes. Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah,
be
the
very
pressure's going to be
challenging.
there. So you're going to have to talk to us again, I think, about the managing of, your time versus
I
the
think
time that you
so.
want to spend. Yeah, because, we've talked about time management on this show before.
Yeah, we have. Maybe I can use some of those strategies to handle this situation when WoW Classic comes out.
Yes. So I think that probably wraps up this part of the discussion. You guys can give us thoughts and feedback about it at podcast@heroeshearth.com. We appreciate your emails and the things that you enjoy about what we talk about every week. Um, we don't know what we're talking about next week because we haven't come up with it yet, but we will get there. So, but before we head out, we haven't actually had some time to just like talk about just stuff that's going on in our world. And so I thought that would be a cool thing for us to wrap things up with.
Yeah.
So, uh anything that you're kind of like noodling on that you wanted to bring up?
For me, it would be hard to just chat about anything other than jury duty right now. It's kind of like
Yeah.
consuming me. Even when I was streaming today, I was thinking about the case, and it's just very. I'm invested in it at this point,
Yeah.
and I've never done anything like this before, so it's all new and sort of exciting, and I'm learning about the process, and it's pretty cool now that the case has actually started. The build up to the case and the jury selection part was just the most excruciating thing ever. But now that the case has actually started, it's pretty interesting, and it's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
because um, there's a lot. I guess there's a lot of responsibility. I don't want to get it wrong, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to listen. I'm taking notes, and I'm just trying to do the best that I can. But it's a really interesting process, and it's especially hard because without revealing too much about the case, I think it's clear to me that both parties have fault.
Mhm.
There's evidence to support that both parties are clearly at fault, and
Mhm.
now it's just a matter of deciding who pays for it all. I
Yeah.
think is the issue. So it's a really wild thing. I'd be curious. I don't know if any of you guys have served on a jury before. Been a part of a trial. I'd love to hear from you guys and hear your experience with jury duty and the court system. I'd be curious to hear what you guys have had to deal with in the past when it comes to that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wish I had reference point to it because it's, that I can relate though to your feeling of like I want to make the right call. I don't want to take this lightly. I don't want to miss something that's pretty crucial to the decision that I'm going to make to it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I would be stressed out about making sure that I was making a decision that was mine and not something that was coercing me from other people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I haven't even gotten to that part yet. Hopefully by next Tuesday, I'll be able to chat with you guys more about the deliberation, like what
Yeah.
it's like in the jury room, because we're going to have all these different opinions being thrown around. And it's a civil case, so it has to just be majority. It doesn't have to be everyone. It doesn't have to
Unanimous.
be
Yeah.
unanimous, as far as I know. So it'll be different. But yeah, I mean, and that the other thing is the jury is like, there is nobody else on this jury that is anywhere even remotely like me. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
in terms of just their background, their history, they're just, it's a very diverse jury. It's very, wild to me. On one hand,
Yeah.
it's very cool. Like, it's super cool to see, wow, like these are what your constituents are in Los Angeles, and like these people are from all different walks of life. It's great. And then on the other hand, it's scary because I think, if I'm ever, on trial for anything and I'm being judged by a jury of my peers, like my peers probably have no idea like what my life has been like or who I
Yeah.
am, because if I was being judged by this group of people, I'd be like, these people can't relate to me in any way, shape, or form. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's kind of
No,
weird.
it's true. And then you really kind of get outside your little bubble of world where you normally interact with people that and you work with and yeah, like all of a sudden you're seeing the side of the world that you don't get to see.
Yeah, and for sure, exactly. And these people, when I say that like they can't relate to me, I mean it in the sense that they've had their own challenges. They've had
Yeah.
very different specific challenges, um, not like greater or lesser challenges. Just, this is a jury of people that are just so different. Like, how could they possibly relate to, um, what the plaintiff or the defendant is going through? Because like I can't
Yeah.
relate to what these people are going through. It was just
Yeah.
wild.
And maybe that's intentional. Maybe that's meant for you to not actually relate to them and more just to say,
I think
I'm
it
taking
is.
this on face value only. And
I think it is. I think that's the goal of the system, because if you do, then there's bias that's created, I
yep.
suppose. But it's
Yep.
also just hard, because how could this person understand, how this person that's judging me, how could they understand me? It's really interesting.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're getting an experience that a lot of people don't get, and you're seeing a side of things that, I mean, it's cool. It is,
Yeah.
I know it's kind of a drag, and, there's been a lot of time taken up by it, but
The biggest bummer is that I was getting to a point where I was feeling really confident in my streaming schedule, and I was getting pretty good about it. And consistency is a big goal for me this year,
mhm.
and now it's kind of thrown out the window. Honestly, I have no idea when this is going to end. I mean, I'm hoping next week at some point, but we'll see. Yeah,
Interesting.
but I'll report back in next Tuesday.
Okay.
How about you? It's been so long since we heard about just what's going on in your life.
Yeah. So there's just a smaller story that I wanted to tell um, this week, and that is like I really try in my life to pay attention to like the bigger picture of things like, because it can be very easy to just kind of get yourself into blinder mode where you're just focused on yourself and everything around you and um kind of had one of those moments, like even it was actually today, this morning, where I realized like I may be being shown a lesson here. Like I may actually, the universe may be trying to show me a lesson at this point. Um, so
I'm intrigued.
over the yeah, so over the weekend, I was browsing Facebook and I was it- just going through posts. I had been posting some things of chainmail that I had done, and so I was looking at other people's posts at the time. And a friend of mine had posted some pictures of a group of people, and I recognized, I mean, I knew some of them, and then I realized that one of them in the picture was someone who I was very personally involved with and had done some really awful things to me, and we are no longer in touch. And I didn't recognize the person in the photo because they had let themselves go so badly that it was a shock. It was a man. It was someone who I was romantically involved with a while ago, and it ended terribly. And he's unrecognizable right
Wow.
now. And I was like, and there was a part of me where I was just like, holy shit. And then I had a moment where I was saying, like, this person is not, he's not a good person. He is not a good individual. He has done some really terrible things. And part of me was like, hey, karma catches up to you. And so that was what I was, that kind of passed me by, and I shared it with my parents, and they were just like, oh my god, like holy crap, like
The
it was,
picture of the guy.
yeah, they were stunned by it. And then yesterday, like in the afternoon or evening, I was going through, and LinkedIn sent me a message to say congratulate this person on their promotion.
Oh yeah.
And the person that had gotten promoted was someone who had very much wanted to rise to the top level of where they were working, and was very, very ambitious and very excited to want to like take a very, get promoted, super like, you know, high level, like VP level stuff.
Yeah.
And in the process of this of him doing this, he burned every bridge with every friend, including me.
Yikes.
And then the post came through and said, please congratulate so and so on their promotion to CTO. And I paused and I was just like, you know, I feel like the universe might be telling me something here. Like, because people make choices on how they treat people. They make choices on how they what they do with other people, and be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. And then when you get it, who's around you to celebrate it? And that was it was a pretty like a big moment of truth to me, where it was like, I so we have these two different scenarios where someone who was
Right.
really a horrible person is now looking physically horrible, and someone who rose to the top and is there without the friends
Alone.
that were there along the way because he burned every bridge that he had.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
It is.
And so I don't know. I'm a very big. I'm just one of those people that just really believes in karma. And
Yep.
it's just like you reap what you sow, you earn back what you give,
Yep.
and
You are
I
what
don't
you put
know.
out in the world. You are
Yeah,
that energy.
yeah. And man, I don't want to be at either of those two individuals right now.
Right.
I don't.
Two different sort of sides of the spectrum, really, I suppose.
Yeah. And so it was a good reminder of just, to make sure that you're out there doing the thing, to treating people kindly. I talked about this in the pre-show before we started recording, that one of the things that I've really experienced in my job is like if someone is talking negatively about other people to you, you can pretty much guarantee that they're
They're
doing
gonna do
that
that to you. Yeah,
about
about you.
you to other people. Yeah. And so that is the culture in the workplace that I am in. And so I really try not to engage in that. But today, I had a coworker that kind of came to just like vent to me about stuff. And man, I learned some things that I did not want to know. Like I just learned stuff about
Ooh.
people I did not want to know about my coworkers. And I'm just like, this is why I don't engage in this. This is why I don't have these conversations.
That's well said, Salamio. Salamio says, I'd rather be a nobody with friends than a somebody with none.
Yeah. Yeah. And man, like, I don't know. It was a good reminder to me, a life lesson, if you will, this week and today. I don't even know what I'm trying to share except for that I had that realization.
Yep, it's always
So,
good to get that little reminder every once in a while. Because I
yeah.
know, like, you and I, we both know this, but sometimes it's like sometimes you get a slap in the face, like, oh, right, this is this is what can happen. This is what some people do. This is
Yeah.
how some people kind of what they evolve into. But
Yeah. And
yeah,
the thing is that I would never ever in the world say that I was perfect. And then have I engaged in gossip? Yes. Have I done it recently? Yes. Should I have done it? No. And the things that I have to just keep reminding myself is just like let's just stay in, try to be the best person that you can be and to treat people with kindness and non-judgment if you can. We talked about it on the last show, the judgment thing is
yeah.
always a sticking point, but it's just I don't know. I I believe so strongly about the energy that you put out in the world, and so if you're doing a good job like 80% of the time putting that positive energy out in the world, it's got to be worth something, right?
Yeah, it's got to be worth something.
It's got to be worth something, thanks universe. So, anyway, yeah, I think that's everything for me. Did you have anything else before we say goodbye?
No, I would like to remind you that I am juror number 3, and I'll be here all week, folks.
Follow his Instagram and his Twitter for sure if he can, tweet some photos of his very dapper looking outfit at jury duty.
Thank you. I'm trying to live my best life, and if I'm gonna go to court, I'm gonna make sure I'm at least the best looking juror in the jurors box.
Hell yeah. I think that's the best plan you can do.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what we're going to talk about next week, but we're going to come up with it. If you guys have suggestions, you can send them to podcast@heroeshearth.com. You can send us a message on Discord. You can tweet us. Think of all those wonderful things that you can tell us. But I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Jules and Coffee Hour. We hope you have enjoyed this time by the fire. Were you going to say something before I close this up? You had that look like I was going to say something.
I just really want people to message us and email us about their jury experience.
Okay.
I'm super fascinated by it. I want to know if you guys ever served on a jury. I want to know about the cases. I want to know about the plaintiffs and defendants, and I want to know, especially like criminal cases. I want to know. I want to know the deets. So if there's anyone out there listening and you guys have jury experience, I want to know what yours was like. And yeah. Okay, that's it. That's all though.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll just make the whole show about your jury experience if you're done with it and you can actually talk about it.
Yeah, it would be so cool if I could. If we finish by next week and I can talk about it, that would be amazing. I would love to.
All right. Well, we'll come up with a backup plan, but that
Yeah.
could be the plan.
Okay.
So
Cool.
all right. So I'm gonna play the music and we're gonna get out of here. And if I can find the music, there's the music.
Want to contact the show? You can email us at podcast@heroeshearth.com. And if you want to connect with us on Twitter, you can find me at coffeeclub_TV. And you can find Jules at JulesRPG. You can also use those handles to follow our personal streams on Twitch as well and get notified on when we go live.
You can join us for the live broadcast on twitch.tv/HeroesHearth on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, or find us in podcast form on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Pocket Cast, TuneIn, and more.
If you like the show and would like to support the great entertainment brought to you by Heroes Hearth, please consider supporting them on Patreon at patreon.com/HeroesHearth.
Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, chat room, for being awesome as always. We're glad you're here.